The desire to change jobs is not limited to federal employees, but leaving federal service can be very costly if you do not understand your benefits before you leave. In this episode, I'm going to cover 3 exclusive federal benefits that may provide a significant financial advantage over most employers. Welcome. I'm Ed Smith, President of Valor Wealth Partners, where we're dedicated to educating federal employees on your complex and often underutilized benefits. During the financial planning process, we see a lot of people that are looking to leave federal service, and that's for a wide variety of reasons. Maybe you're just burnt out, or you want to be able to look at something else. Maybe you're being attracted by a different company that's offering you all of this great pay. But for whatever reason, you want to be able to make sure you understand what those benefits are and that the grass is not always greener on the other side. 2 of my favorite benefits for federal employees is the satisfaction of serving your country or having pride in what you do on a daily basis. Another one is a PSLF, or the Public Service Loan Forgiveness, that can help pay off student loans. And obviously this is if you have student loans. Both of these benefits you can get out of the federal service. You can get the Public Service Loan Forgiveness at other governments like municipalities or state governments. You can get it at nonprofits. The pride of serving the country or getting a pride of satisfaction of the job that you do can be found in a wide variety of different companies that you can work at. While these two can be found in a lot of different places, there are some benefits that can only be found with federal service, and they can be very beneficial financially for you. So let's dig into my 3 favorite ones that we want to talk about of what you should really be understanding before you make a decision to jump ship and go to the private sector or to another government agency like a state or municipal government. The first benefit shouldn't be too much of a surprise. It's your federal pension. Now, your federal pension is probably the safest pension out there. You don't have to worry about a private sector company going into bankruptcy or just stopping the benefit altogether. It's very safe with the federal government. But besides the safety, there's also strong financial benefits that you have to be able to look at. Let's break this down into 2 sections. The first one is age milestones. Now, you probably know that age 62, you get a 10% bump in your pension from the day before. So if you're at age 60 or 61 and you're looking to change jobs, you might want to see what that calculation is and wait until 62, how much of a financial benefit that is. There's also age milestones around minimum retirement age. Certain types of minimum retirement ages have penalties associated with them. So maybe there's a penalty that if you take the benefit of your pension early and you keep your FEHB and FEHB, that you might have a penalty for the rest of your life. Or you can defer the pension, which means you don't get the pension or your FEHB or FEHB, and it comes back at 62. So these could be significant penalties for you by just having an age milestone. So before making that jump, you really want to be able to dig into what the pension is, what the guidelines are, and how it would affect you going to another job. But let's look at the financial equivalency of a pension, because I think that's really important as well, and people don't realize how valuable that is. We have a video called The Dangers of the 4% Rule. So I want you to look this to actually back up some of these numbers to see how we calculate these figures and make sure it makes sense to you. Because a 4% rule is actually a pretty safe number. You might actually use a higher calculation. But mathematically, let's look at how that equivalency of what a pension is in dollar amounts. To me, every $1,000 of monthly income that you receive is equivalent to about $300,000 that you would have to save. Now, this is not $300,000 that you would save in your TSP or get matching, because another company you might have that as well. This is money that you would have to have as a pay raise or as a bonus in addition to the income that you would have. So you would have to have a significant increase. Now, this all depends on how fast you're calculating your pension growing, or years in service, or your high 3, or even at age 62 like we talked about. So you have to know the rules of your pension to figure out how fast your pension is growing to see how much that $1,000 would be, or what that difference in pension on a monthly benefit would be. And again, remember, a guaranteed monthly benefit for the rest of your life, and possibly your spouse's life if you're using a survivor benefit plan. So you really want to be able to look at what that is equivalent to. And to me, like I said, $1,000 of monthly income is worth $300,000. You really want to be able to see what those numbers are for you. The number 2 benefit you should be looking at is your healthcare, or FEHB. When you're looking at FEHB, you really have to compare it to what the new company has. Now, when you're looking at this, if you're going to be covered under FEHB for the rest of your life and your family is, then maybe this isn't that important to you. But if you're looking at a job change before you're able to keep this, you really need to understand the extreme benefits that FEHB provides to you as a federal employee. One of them is choice. At most companies, you get one choice. Well, you get one choice and it's either single or family. So you have 2 choices off of that one choice. But there isn't a lot of flexibility. With the FEHB system, you have about 275 choices every year. They do change and go up and down a little bit, but right now it's around 275 choices you have. That is a lot of flexibility, which means you can choose the cost that you pay and also the quality of care, or the types of care that it's going to be provided. If you're going to be able to have different physicians, if you're going to be able to out of network, you have a lot of flexibility where you don't have in most companies. So don't discredit this as not a major benefit. This is a huge financial benefit for you because controlling the cost of what you pay on a monthly benefit is a big deal. When you're looking at those costs specifically, though, while you were employed with federal service, the government generally pays 72% of the cost for your healthcare. There are some unique situations where they don't cover that full cost, older plans, but for the most part, it's 72% of that benefit. Now, there's a lot of employers out there that will pay 100% or they'll pay a good chunk of this, but 72% is a good number. So you might find a company that is actually paying more, but are they covering your whole family? Sometimes employers will pay for you, but not for your whole family. So this is something you have to be able to look at what they're paying as an employee. Now, once you retire, these can completely change. Most companies stop paying any subsidy at all for you or your family, which means there is nothing. But for the federal government, you're still getting that same 72% or whatever that number is for you for your health benefits for the rest of your life and for your family's rest of your life as long as you met that criteria of 5 years. A lot of times employers, even if they do cover you in retirement, they might not cover your family, or when you pass away, all benefits cease to your family. And so that could be a major financial hurdle that you have to be careful of. We've seen this before, and we've had to make sure that people got into FEHB before 5 years of leaving service, because if they didn't have that into retirement, they could lose a lot of money in this scenario. Now, we have a video on the FEHB comparison tools, so you can actually see how many different companies are out there and choices you have of all those different things of our first point of really looking at the flexibility that you have and the choices that you have available to you. The third benefit isn't necessarily a stated benefit, but it's career security. And when you're working for the federal government, you have this in 2 main ways. First is protection from termination. Now, I'm not saying you can't get fired from the federal government, but it's a lot more difficult to get fired from the federal government than it is in the private sector. And so your job safety is very, very good. The next level is just overall safety as a company or an organization. You're not worried about mergers and acquisitions. You're not worried about losses of revenue or massive layoffs. And while they do happen, and there are times that there are layoffs in the federal government, it is very rare. So as an employee of the federal government, you're not worried about your job disappearing. In the private sector, this can be very common, and it does happen quite often. I remembered about a client that I had a couple years ago, and they were talking about how their company got bought out, but their division was very safe because it was critical, and it was the reason why their company was bought in the first place. 3 months later, this client was forced to retire because of layoffs. It was a very shocking situation for them. They were so adamant 3 months before that they were very safe in their job. Come to find out, they were bought for a different reason. So this does happen. It is very common. So if you're looking at the grass being greener in the private sector, you have to be careful that this doesn't always happen. If you're still watching, there's probably some good information you'll be getting off of today's video, and hopefully it's good. Please share this so other people maybe that are thinking about leaving federal service for another job, they can take a look at this before they make that final decision, and they can compare different choices that they have. So if you're still watching, please hit that like button and let us know what you like. Also, if there's a special benefit that you want to be talking about, put it in that description section and we'll talk about it a little more. We love hearing what people have to say about these topics because it makes us make more of these videos that are specifically designed for you. Now, when you're looking at these benefits, please look at all of your benefits and their financial impact that they may have for you because they might be significant. As always, we want the best for you and your family, so please get conflict-free, unbiased advice. Thank you for your time today, and we look forward to educating you in the next video.